Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're exploring the absolutely monumental story of someone who is, without a doubt, one of the most important scientists in human history, Marie Curie. This is the story of a person who went toe-to-toe with two completely different but equally massive obstacles. On one side, invisible, deadly forces of nature that literally nobody at the time understood. And on the other, the invisible, yet incredibly rigid, societal barriers of her era. But through sheer brilliance and just relentless persistence, she broke through both of them and kind of changed modern science forever. Okay, let's dive into this. I want you to put yourself in her shoes for just a second. Imagine dedicating your entire life, your passion, your everyday routine to working with materials that are so inherently dangerous, they're actually slowly destroying your body. And the real tragedy here? You're doing all of this before anyone on Earth even realizes that the danger exists. The stakes of this scientific work were literally life and death, but the threat was completely unseen. Now, imagine facing that unseen physical danger while simultaneously dealing with the really harsh societal rules of the 1800s. The world constantly told her three things. Women don't belong in science, women shouldn't attend universities, and women could never become great scientists. From the very beginning of her journey, she hit this immense wall of discrimination and societal pushback. And these weren't just polite suggestions, right? These were the hard and fast rules of the society she lived in. But as we're going to see, she refused to listen to a single one of them. Section 1. Overcoming Invisible Barriers. So, born in Poland back in 1867, Marie Curie grew up in a world where women had extremely limited educational opportunities. But she had this brilliant mind that just refused to be starved of knowledge. For years, she actually had to study secretly in her homeland. I mean, think about the sheer determination that takes. Eventually, she made the huge decision to pack up and move to Paris just to attend university. But, life didn't just magically get easier once she got there. The reality in Paris was gritty. She was poor, frequently hungry, and she spent hours studying in these absolutely freezing rooms. Yet, through all of this cold and hardship, she successfully infiltrated the fields of physics and chemistry, two areas that were, at the time, almost entirely locked down by men. Section 2. Discovering radioactivity. In the late 1800s, scientists had stumbled upon these mysterious rays coming from uranium. Most people didn't fully understand them at all, but Marie Curie? She became absolutely obsessed with studying this strange energy. After years of relentless, grinding experiments, she made a revolutionary discovery. So the crucial point is, she didn't just study this weird phenomenon. She fundamentally figured out how it worked. She realized that certain elements actually release energy naturally from inside their very atoms. And she's the one who literally invented the specific term we use for it today, radioactivity. Working side by side with her husband, Pierre Curie, Marie just kept pushing the research forward. Together, they didn't just understand radioactivity, they discovered entirely new elements hidden within the matter. First up was polonium, beautifully named in honor of her homeland. And then came radium, which was famously known for glowing mysteriously in the dark. At the time, the public and honestly even other scientists thought this glowing radioactive material was almost magical. It was this fascinating, beautiful light in the dark. Section 3. The Deadly Cost. Because society didn't yet understand the dangers of radiation, Marie Curie handled these materials constantly. She carried test tubes full of glowing isotopes directly in her pockets as she walked around the lab. She worked day in and day out with absolutely zero protective equipment. I'm talking no lead aprons, no specialized gloves, nothing. She was just a brilliant scientist eager to understand the universe, completely unaware that her unprotected daily exposure to radiation was secretly and slowly damaging her own body. Now, what's really interesting about this is just how permanent that invisible power actually is. Over 100 years have passed since she conducted these experiments, a full century, and yet her personal laboratory notebooks, the very pages she wrote her brilliant ideas on, are still radioactive today. Let that sheer, lasting power sink in for a second. That is the intense, dangerous environment she was exposing herself to every single day just to bring us this knowledge. Section 4. A Radiant Legacy. 2. That's the magic number. Marie Curie wasn't just the first woman to ever win a Nobel Prize. Her discoveries were so unbelievably profound that she became the first person ever to win 2 Nobel Prizes in 2 completely different sciences, one in physics and one in chemistry. That had literally never happened before in human history. And to this day, it remains an incredibly rare achievement that very, very few scientists have ever matched. And this brilliantly illustrates how her grueling hours in the lab and her immense sacrifices opened up doors that actively shape our modern world. Because of Marie Curie, we have life-saving cancer radiation treatments. We have the entire field of nuclear physics. We have modern medical imaging that allows doctors to actually look inside the human body. We have atomic science. Scientists today are still exploring the doors that she forced open. As we wrap up this explainer, her journey is perhaps best summarized by this one thought. She succeeded in a world that constantly underestimated women. Marie Curie's story transcends physics and chemistry. It really is an absolute masterclass in raw determination. She battled through poverty, she shattered rampant discrimination, and she faced unimaginable physical danger to become one of history's greatest scientific minds. Which leaves us with this final thought. Marie Curie's story remains lasting proof that breaking barriers starts with relentless curiosity and an absolutely unstoppable will to discover. So, I'll leave you with this question. How will your curiosity and persistence change the world? Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and keep exploring.